Hey, Facebook and YouTube. This is just another video to update new things that I learned on the issue of Afghanistan. There are so yeah, there's still bad news, but there's more things that I learned today. Um, but I'm not gonna get all emotional today, so don't expect that. Uh, that other night I was just learning about it. I just saw those videos of those children, those images, and yeah, it really got to me. And so yeah, it got me real emotional. But this time it's just information that I learned. So yeah, the crisis is still going on over there. There's still millions of children that are they're probably going to die because of our government's sanctions on that country. Um, just a reminder: Biden can undo this. He does not need Congress approval for this, but this is him. But really quick on what I learned. So there's the total population of Afghanistan is 39 million people. They're saying that 23 million, about 23 million of them, they don't have enough food. They're in danger of dying from starvation, especially the children. Again, I'm not gonna get emotional about it this time. Uh, but yeah, the main concern for me at least is the children. Imagine being there right now and not having enough food for your child. So yeah, just put yourself in those parents' shoes for a minute. Um, so yeah, 39 million people, 23 million of them, just not enough food. So yeah, our government is complicit on it. It's not 100% our government. It's not like it's all on the U.S., but it's the bulk of it. The majority of the problem is our government freezing their assets, freezing their money. To the specifics I got is $9.4 billion that Afghanistan has on mostly U.S. banks, or I think it's all of it. 9.4 billion of whatever their total assets, it's all on our banks, U.S. banks, and so that's what is frozen by the Biden administration. So yes, this is this. If Biden, lets Afghanistan have access to this kind of money, to all these assets, it can help a lot over there. I can reduce that food insecurity dramatically, I believe. But he has to take action, man, and that's the problem. He's not taking action. Another point that is fair making is, where's the corporate media? Where is the media? Where's CNN? Fox News? I don't even know if Fox News ever at least pretend to care about the women and children, and when our troops left Afghanistan, one of the biggest criticisms of Biden was this: oh, what about the women? What about the children? You're gonna leave and put them in danger if you leave because you left and all that. And they all pretended to give a shit. So this just goes to show that it was all politics for them. They never really care about those people because they're not really giving this much coverage. Last time when I was all emotional when I made that last video, I gave credit to CNN, but yes, if you compare the first 2 or 3 weeks when Biden left Afghanistan, the amount of coverage they gave on Afghanistan, it was astronomical, and that was just to shit on Biden. Pretty much a pro-war freaking message, propaganda by the media, and you just compare that kind amount of coverage to what's going on right now. They're not saying much about it, and from what I'm learning, this is worse than when we were there. This policy is gonna kill more Afghan people. This sanctions that the government is imposing. So keep that in mind. This is worse, but the media is nowhere to be found. Like they're not giving it attention at all. What else do I have here? Supposedly they're gonna give $350 million through the UN. I mean, which is okay, but that's not gonna feed 23 million people. There's still gonna be a lot of suffering. So wholly inadequate. And I don't know, Sagar and Jetty, if you know him or not. He's a conservative co-host on Breaking Points with a progressive Crystal Ball. He criticized the UN, and because that's where I picked it up from. That's where I got the update from watching Breaking Points, saying that, well, he asked, like, can you point to anything good that UN has done or something like that? Like he doesn't have faith in the UN humanitarian division, whatever, in doing a good job regarding this matter. So yeah, I mean, even if they did a perfect job, it wouldn't be enough. It's a drop in the bucket of what Afghanistan needs. And again, this is for the people of Afghanistan. This is hurting the people. It's not hurting the government. It's not hurting the Taliban. Or maybe it is, but I don't know, dude. There's one person that I hate, and if I kick them in the nuts, but if I knew that it's gonna hurt 100 other people's too, for kicking that person in the nuts, I wouldn't do it. So I guess it's just a matter of priorities, I guess. So, but yeah, that's the thing. And what else do I have? 40 House Democrats. I don't know who they are. I don't know which Democrats. I'm assuming the Squad is among them, probably, and most progressives. But I don't know. I don't have any of the names. I just know that the 40 House Democrats contacted Janet Yellen. She's a Treasury Secretary. And they're urging her to release those $9.4 billion to let the Afghan government have access to that money or those assets so they can feed their people. So that's the latest on that front. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know which 40 Democrats did it. Of course, no fucking Republicans. Oh God, this is why I'm the vote blue no matter who people, because Democrats are bad, but goddamn, Republicans are worse. This is just another example. Not one Republican that I know of is advocating for these people. And let's remember, the Republican Party they're in their tent is the pro-life movement, the so-called pro-life movement. What's your pro-life values right now, guys? I mean, this is children we're talking about. And I know how they're gonna scuff it off. Same way they scuffed it with immigrant children being separated from the parents. Oh, it's the parents' fault. Oh, it's this person's fault. Like, don't try to make me feel guilty for it. I mean, you can do something about this. You can contact Biden and tell him via email, via phone call, send him a freaking letter if you want to be old school about it. But you can reach out to Biden and tell him to let him know that you don't support this kind of behavior from our government. This is gross, man. Just know that we have the power to make a difference this time. not directly but indirectly. We can contact Biden, and if enough of us contact Biden and put pressure on him, again through email, phone call, letter, smoke signals, if you know a way to reach him that way. But if enough of us contact the White House, Biden will probably hear us, and he might feel the pressure, and he might release something. So yeah, there is some things that Biden said. Let me see here. He's saying that relief won't come to the Taliban until they meet certain terms. One of them being they gotta form an inclusive government. Let women in and all that. Minorities represent in the government, have representation in the government. Guarantee the rights of minorities, again, women and girls. Sever ties with terrorists. I mean, sure, man. I mean, why not? That would be a good thing, and so I don't know if imagine being in Afghanistan again. Put yourself in an Afghan civilian's shoes and read. Let's say that message reached you. You're an average citizen. You pick up the newspaper and you read that about Biden. Yeah, yeah. So Biden doesn't want us to have access to the resources until the Taliban meets these three demands. But in the meantime, it's okay to starve women and children and their husbands and whatever good working people there is in Afghanistan. That's the crazy cycle that I don't know what's going through his head. I don't know if it's genuine about this shit or if he's that fucking dumb. But he's saying, yeah, give women representation in government and give them rights and all that. But if you don't do it, if you don't agree to it, I'm gonna make sure they're starving. I'm gonna make sure they don't have access to food. I'm gonna make sure their children are suffering, potentially die from starvation, because you don't want to give them representation. You see how stupid that sounds? So, yeah, I don't know if he's thinking clearly or if he's just looking for an excuse to continue to be an asshole to these people. But again, we can make a difference. I already contacted them. I sent them an email. And I just don't know how many people are doing it. I don't know how many people are going to watch this. The 2 or 3 of you that do, share this video or make your own video and try to spread the word and contact Biden and urge others to do the same. But man, this has got to stop, dude. And this is not the only country. We're hurting other countries and using the same tactic, freezing their access. And I said this before in my previous video. I think, like I said, this is not all on the U.S. government, but we hold the majority of those assets. We're the ones freezing the majority of it, and again, our government is very influential around the world. If they let Afghans if they let them have access to their own assets, whoever else is freezing their assets, they might follow suit because of the influence of the U.S. So we might be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And yeah, hate the Taliban all you want. Hate all these other governments that we are at odds with all you want. But just know that these sanctions, I oppose them mostly because they're not hurting the governments. Or they might be, but not as much as they're hurting the people, the working people in those countries. And how do you think they're going to react? You want to know how we make terrorists? This might be a way. Well, I know the U.S. is fucking me over. I lost my son from not having enough food, and I know the U.S. had a hand in it. You might radicalize someone that way. Breaking Point's made that point, by the way. So that's how immigration. I made this point before. Breaking Point's made it too, but before I made this point, our foreign policy. I mean, it's mostly on the right. They have a problem with all these immigrants coming in. Oh, they're invaders. Oh, they're stealing our jobs. All that bullshit. But they never stop and think like, why? Why are they risking their lives coming here or going to other European countries or wherever? They never stop and ask themselves, how is this happening? Why are they doing it? Because they're a bunch of criminals. They're so evil. They want to come here and steal your fucking minimum wage job, your low skill job. Come on, man. Think about it. Our foreign policy kind of pushes them to come this way or wherever they go. It's called having desperation and economic insecurity in those countries, and it's not the only thing again, but I'm pretty sure our foreign policy impacts the decisions of many people that decide to make a dangerous move in trying to cross into this border or into this country or whatever other country. Our foreign policy has to do with that fact that they decide to make that dangerous trip and take their chances. They're not evil people. They're not trying to steal your job or any of that bullshit. They want to survive. So I don't know. Just think about that, man. And this is the right thing to do. So again, email him, email the White House, write to the White House, call the White House, and try to make a difference. That's all I got. Credit to Breaking Points for educating me more on giving me more details on this story. Ciao.